So the stage number 3 is the scale up stage. And that's from about 250K to about 500K. This is really where your business is starting to take off. So you can see here, right? I talked about this overnight success that happens really from working our asses off for a period of time. The startup stage is that 10 times effort to 1 time return that we just left. Now we're in the scale up stage and you are starting to see 1 time effort and 10 times return. Now, this doesn't happen by accident. This happened because of the work that you paved the way and the steps that you've taken to dream up and the startup stage. Each one of the stages builds the foundation for the next stage and make the growth in that next stage easier. So this is why it's really important to go all in on the stage that you're in. Don't try to jump over any of the stages. Don't try to circumvent the work that needs to happen in each one of the stages. Go all in and it actually will create the momentum. This is the fastest way to get there. The thoughts you have in a scale up stage is like, oh my God, this is actually now really happening. The stuff that I've been dreaming of, the stuff that I've been wanting to create, it's finally happening. You may also have a feeling of, oh my God, it's freaking chaos right now. I hope my clients are noticing. Like things are getting kind of busy. 1 time effort to 10 times return, all of a sudden, it's like your business is really hopping and you starting to noticing where things are falling through the cracks and things are not working as well. And you just brings the next level of anxiety. So each stage brings its own challenges with it. And so this is a really important piece to remember. You now maybe solved the challenge in the dream up stage of really connecting with your ideal clients. And then in the startup stage, you get really good at bringing people on board and marketing and building out that empowered client journey so that you really can cultivate your leads and bring them. And then the sales process, you got all of these things now dialed in. So in the scale up stage, the next thing is, oh my God, like, how am I going to keep up with this? You are now at the point where the boulder has creased the top of the hill. It's rolling downhill and it's rolling faster than you can run. It has its own challenges with it. So your question is, how will I keep up? This is not what I thought it was going to look like, because I think a lot of times in the startup stage, we think that when things just gets easier, when clients come to us easier, when it doesn't take so much effort to grow the business, then everything is going to be easy. It's going to be awesome. But the reality is that each stage comes with its own challenges that you're going to have to grow with and overcome. There's this feeling of like, wow, I didn't expect it was going to look like this. I didn't expect this next challenge to be here. And there's also this worry of, oh my, people are going to see how messed up I am, because you can't wrap your arms around it all. It gets a little bit wacko, a little chaotic at this stage. And you're starting to worry that people are going to see your flaws. And this can be very challenging to start noticing that you may create some messes here and things are falling through the cracks, plates are crashing around you, and you worry what people are going to think. And the number one thing to focus on in the scale up stage is your delivery. How do you onboard new clients? How do you deliver top-notch results for them and experiences for them through your programs, and really fine-tune all those experiences for them, guiding them through the process? Some of the mistakes that I've done in delivery is that I focus too much on the content, like the details, the things I'm teaching people, and not enough time on the context, the big picture, so that people really understand how the pieces, the content fits into the big picture. When you go directly to content and the details, there's no clear big picture roadmap for people to follow along with. Oftentimes the details are going to feel overwhelming and they actually not going to take action. And we all know that if clients are not implementing, they're not going to get results. And if they're not going to get results, oftentimes they'll turn around and blame you. So obviously in a relationship with a client, there's mutual responsibility, right? The client needs to show up and do the work, but you also need to create the environment to make that experience as easy and seamless as possible. And that is what delivery, really going all in on delivery, is all about, is really making that seamless. And if you focus on the big picture context and first and give people the lay of the land and then give them the details of how to create that, that gives them a context and actually puts them at ease, because they know there's a framework, there's a system that they're working with. And if they just do each step, they understand how it builds the momentum that they want to create. So really focusing on delivery here is really important. And you really need to get really good at unpacking your intellectual property so that your clients can pay, stay, and refer. So really understanding of how you take the stuff that you know about the programs and services that you offer and make it as accessible to somebody that has never studied, don't have the experience, don't have the skill set, don't have the knowledge that you have. So really thinking about how you unpack it in a way that is very accessible and easy to assimilate. You want to automate and simplify as much as possible. One of the biggest mistakes that people do in the scale up stage is that they're trying to scale on their startup business model. And what I mean by that is that all of a sudden they have 10x the number of clients coming in, and there's so much more chaos and stuff happening inside their business that it's hard to keep up. And they putting this on top of systems that might be now not really functional, not really streamlined enough. And it gets a little clunky. And when we notice the clunkiness, because we have so much going on, we just put a Band-Aid on it. We just fix it on a surface level. And then we just keep going. And so over time, one step in your process or how you do things in your business, maybe have 20 steps when it can be run in 3, or maybe be fully automated with a tool, a tech tool. And so really looking at how do you automate and simplify your business at this stage is really important, because you want to simplify before you multiply, or you're going to end up multiplying the chaos that starts happening here. So really going all in on simplifying things and building out the operations of your business. With that, I mean like your file sharing system, the security, how do you share your passwords? What are the emails your team members are utilizing? Are they utilizing their personal emails? Are they keeping things in their personal G drives? Do you have a collected way of finding everything and understanding what needs to happen in the business? Do you have standard operational procedures? Operations feel kind of boring and pretty unsexy, right? Not very sexy. But I think these kind of systems and build outs and simplifying the business is super sexy because what it creates for you. The freedom of being able to delegate things with so much ease, not having to worry if a team member leaves or stays on because you don't know at all what they're doing. So all of a sudden, if they leave, you freaked out. You don't have to worry about that if you have the systems in place, because you can plug a new team member right into the system and they can go up and running like this and know what to do because you had the standard operational procedures in place. So yes, operations may not be your favorite thing to focus on, but it's super important to scale up stage if you want to scale your business. Now, here's the thing. Do you have to do the scale up stage? No, you don't. You can build a really successful business in the startup stage, be a solopreneur. Obviously, you may only be able to get to maybe 500 to maybe 700 at the top range. You may not be able to go all the way to $1 million just as one person and on a solopreneur kind of business model. So you gotta have to make decisions here, but this is a decision that you should be able to make for yourself. What is your ultimate vision? And it's really important to know that. So if you feel like it's too hard to figure out the operations, then you should stay with a dream up and startup stage. There's nothing wrong with that. You can make these choices along the way, because remember, it's all about building a business that aligns with your vision and the life that you actually want to create. That is the most important thing, ultimately. But if you are looking to scale your business into the millions, you're definitely going to have to simplify and automate. You're going to have to build out your operations. The good news is you build it once and you can reap the benefits for decades. You need to slow down a little bit, build those foundational processes in place, and then it'll be so much easier to scale and grow and add more team members if you need to. Number one thing that's get in the way in the scale up stage is realizing you built the wrong business and hating the end results. So I see this a lot. I step in here and I see a lot of businesses that just built the business on the wrong foundation with the wrong business model. And now the CEO, the visionary, is just feeling stuck, having to do a bunch of stuff that they absolutely do not enjoy and feeling way overstressed into areas. It's not fun for them. It's not natural for them. It's not aligned with their vision. It's not aligned with their natural strengths. And they really bumping up against their weaknesses all day long. And it's very stressful and not a whole lot of fun, right? So that's a really important thing to pay attention to in the scale up stage, is when you realize that, to then figure out what needs to be simplified and automated in your business so that you can really take it all the way. And again, I would say at this moment in time, it's really helpful to have a mentor that can look over your shoulder and who has been there before and who can really diagnose where it went wrong and how to actually fix it. Because at this stage, I think you need a one-on-one coaching situation or somebody that can actually really take a deep dive look into your business to see what needs to be fine-tuned and what needs to be moved out, what needs to be added in, and what needs to be tweaked so that it can really be amplified in a much bigger way. It's really important at this stage to not just sign up with the next mentor and the next program and throw throw everything out and start over. I see this happen so much in our industry where people just go on to the next thing. Oh, this didn't work, so I'm just going to go on to the next thing. And they start from scratch. There's no reason for you to do that. It's just going to lead to more burnout and more confusion and more stress. The best thing you can do at this level, there's so many things that you are doing right in your business at this level that are working really well for you. So it's not about starting over, but it is about refining what you're doing so that you can get it to the point where it feels amazing. And I think the right mentor can really help you fine tune the pieces and use the success you built right now as a springboard to take you to that next level. That's really what the scale up stage is all about. Not knowing how to change the trajectory or burning out or having to start over in dream up. So sometimes what happens in scale up is you have this one-time effort, 10 times return, something that you've been dreaming of for now a while, right? All through the dream up and the startup stage to have this momentum happening. But then all of a sudden you're overloaded and things just kind of starts crumbling around you and the systems you built your business on cannot sustain the growth and things just kind of blow up on you. This is a very common breakdown in the scale up stage. And then from that moment on, you then step into the dream up stage to then reconfigure everything and start over again. But the shitty part of that is that you have to go through the startup stage again. You have to go through the whole stage of putting in 10 times effort to 1 time the return to gain the momentum to bring yourself back up to scale up stage. You don't just go into dream up stage, reconfigure your business, and then jump right back into scale up stage. You have to go through the startup stage along the way. Again, this cycle of going from blowing things up in scale up and then starting over and dream up, moving through startup, blowing things up in scale up is something that many, many entrepreneurs do over and over and over again. And I believe is the number one reason so many entrepreneurs end up burning out completely. Like just adrenal fatigue, health is suffering, addiction takes over, trauma is at an all-time high. All of those things just kind of takes us sideways because of how we are actually not taking the time in scale up to put the systems and the building blocks in place to build the business that we really want. And so again, really important to have a mentor that understands these stages and can really guide you through this process and fine tune it for you. And so the business model in the scale up stage is usually a solopreneur, right? It's the CEO plus maybe 1 to 3 VAs, helpers who are doing very specific things. Maybe you have a social media manager, a tech VA who manage the tech on the back end. Maybe you have a client care person. Maybe you have somebody who's coaching your clients. So you have a couple of people who are there to support you. And the thing is really to look at, is the foundation sturdy enough to build and scale on? You want a foundation that you can build a skyscraper on. You want a foundation that's not going to buckle under the weight of a really high building. It's really important that you are paying attention. What is that foundation? What does it really look like? And that's really what the scale up stage is all about. And the leadership in scale up is about leading your community, really leading your clients, your audience, leading the bigger picture, inspiring people with your vision and stepping into leadership, leveraging the success that you built, know what to tweak, build and eliminate, refine your path as you create your vision, and really making sure everything is in alignment with who you truly are. So you end up building something that you really enjoy and that's really fun and that gets you to that end goal that you actually are looking for. And focusing on refining your delivery and how you interact with your community. So streamlining your empowered client journey, streamlining your delivery, building all these systems into place so that it becomes really seamless. And skills to grow, really understanding what makes an amazing delivery process for your clients, how to utilize technology to automate and simplify pieces of your business. And it's about going slow to go fast. So this is really about slowing down enough to put the foundation in place so that you can build a skyscraper on top of it. If you're on the 20th story or the 30th story, it doesn't matter. It's still solid. You build it once and you reap the benefits for decades. And this is going to feel a little bit counterintuitive, but you want to create spaciousness to think strategically. So often in the scale up stage, because things are speeding up so quickly and there's a lot of complexity that gets added in and it gets kind of clunky and a little bit of chaotic, we as CEOs then invest even more time into the business, right? Trying to fill in the gaps of what's not working, trying to be the glue that holds it together as much as we can. And the reality is that we can't actually become the glue of the business. This is why automating and simplifying and building out the systems and allow the systems to do the heavy lifting is the way to go in the scale up stage. And in order to do that really, really well, you're going to need to create spaciousness for yourself to unplug from the business and the hustle. Us as visionaries, when we get stuck in the day-to-day of doing all day long in our businesses, we don't have enough perspective and enough big picture to make smart decisions. Here's a really cheesy analogy. So if you think about it this way, as a visionary, you are the eagle. Right? You're the eagle flying over the land. You can see the dips and valleys. You can see the mountains. You can see the rivers. You can see the lay of the land, and you know where there might be dips and what needs to happen and how to navigate the landscape, the big picture view. And if you think about it this way, your team, they are on the ground as beavers, building the dams, building the business. And so their perspective is very much in the details, seeing all the little pieces. If you leave your space as being the visionary an eagle, having the big picture in mind, and you jump into the middle of your business and become the beaver on the ground, getting stuff done, tending to the details, you will lose the vision of the eagle. You will lose the direction. You will not notice the layout. You will not notice the pitfalls that you need to navigate. And nobody then will have that point of view. And so now you're just in the details, doing, and you'll lose sight of where you're going, and you stop becoming the leader that your team and your community and everybody is actually relying on. When that happens, the business will automatically start tanking. It will go sideways. So it's really important here to create enough spaciousness for yourself where you have the eagle view, even as busy as the scale up stage gets, to have that perspective so that you don't lose sight of the vision and stop being the leader that everybody is counting on to lead away. So again, really important piece to think about in the scale up stage.